Hello, and welcome to the Cup TV, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality. And you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I am your girl, Lana, your resident evil diva, and I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, drink the tea, because you know I love me some tea. Purr. But also, I am also emotionally unavailable and dead inside. But I come here to eat the girls, period. Oh my goodness. Yes, it is me. It is I. It is Lana. I am here. I am here by myself today. It's not fun to be by yourself all the time, but sometimes it's okay. But I'm here alone today because David had to go out of town for personal family business. My thoughts and prayers are going out to David and his family, and I hope you all do the same for a loss in his family. So we are giving our thoughts and prayers for him and his family. But it's okay because I am here to hold down the fort. I got this. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna still talk about all the shows that we cover and talk about. And you know what else we're gonna talk about? We're gonna talk about Look at my cup mug here. Ew. And you can get you one at monologiescreations.etsy.com. That link will be in the description below. And if you look to the right of the screen, there is a QR code. Scan that right now. It'll take you right to the shop. You can get your merch. Um, get your merch, give me a little favorite, and send me a picture once you picked it up, once it's delivered to you, because we do ship internationally and domestically, so there are no excuses. Get your cup mug and period, and thank you. But yeah, I'm here talking all things, everything that happened in competitive reality television over the week, and we are week 20 of the year, and we're talking all things reality television, and I'm excited to talk about it. And y'all know we usually got a lot to say about a lot of everything, and we're going to talk about it all. I'm going to talk about it all. But I'm going to test myself and see if I don't ramble for hours on end, and maybe we can be done with this sooner than usual. But who knows? Because y'all know I like to talk. Your girl likes to talk. I like talking to you, and I hope you like talking to me, because I would really love to hear in the comments what you think about everything that's going on. But do me another favor: subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. We are on a mission to get 1,000 new subscribers by the end of the year. We are almost to the halfway point of the year, and we're halfway there. We are finally at 500 followers on this channel, and we want to get 500 more. So help us out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. If this is your first time checking us out, hi, welcome to the channel. Sending you some love. It's not gonna work today, but it's okay. It usually gives hearts. But sending you love. Shout out to all of you. Subscribe to this channel, subscribe to all of our channels. All the links will be in the description below, as well as our audio podcast links, our Patreon links, and where you can get your cup mug at honestycreations.etsy.com. Also, all of our socials are down there as well, at the Cup Pod on Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Twitter. So follow us in all of those places. And yeah, we're going to get right into it because that's what we're here for. And we're going to start where we always start, it's our singing and variety shows. Well, we have ran out of singing shows, but we still have our variety shows because Chopped Castaway is upon us. It is here. We're doing it. And we're going to talk about it because it's a variety show. It's not what we usually talk about, it's something different. And I love that we're doing that here. We're expanding our horizons on this channel as well. So let's get into Chopped Castaway, shall we? Um, so last week, of course, we saw that the blue team had struggled a little bit, and the green team ended up winning that last challenge. So this week we had a different challenge. It was about adapting and pivoting, and that was the focus of this week. And so let's bring up. So the what we had was just like I said, adapting, pivoting, all of that thing. That was the whole goal of this week. And so they had to first dig up their ingredients. They had to dig up coins to tell them what their ingredients were going to be. And it was four places, and each square had they had to do a 5 course dish. Um, was it 5 course? Yeah, 5 course dishes. 5 course dish, 5 different dishes, I should say. But we had to dig up the coins for some of their ingredients. And two ingredients could either be prime ingredients or cheap versions of the same ingredient. And so each team had to do that. It was two decoys with nothing in it, and then it was two of them with the actual ingredients in it. And they had to go to these different stores and dig them up. And so everybody did the digging. They got their ingredients. The blue team ended up with popcorn kernels, Bavette beef, century eggs, and queso fresco. Now, century eggs are these eggs that are fermented eggs, and it's a delicacy in places like Vietnam or the Philippines. That's what they said. And so these century eggs, and they're fermented, and they're kind of funky. They're like funky eggs. Eggs itself always already has this regular old pungent smell when you cook them or whatever. These are fermented and things like that, so it's even funkier. Um, and so they ended up getting those. The green team ends up getting pretty much the same ingredients, except instead of queso fresco, they get canned cheese, just spray cheese, just right out the can. So that was the only difference between the two teams and their ingredients. And so Hannah decides, since the green team has 6 people, that she's going to be like the floaters in between. She's gonna go. I forgot the fancy word she called it. Not fancy like that, but she's going to go between and help everybody. She's going to be the person that helps everybody and make sure everybody has everything they need. She breaks down the beef for everybody. Anything. She is the person that helps people that needs to help. Um, and then there's 5 people on the blue team, so they of course have to just work on their own individual dishes. But Carrie is going to be the person that breaks down the beef for everybody. So they're all working in pretty, decent ways, decent fashions. They're um, getting their things together. It's not a lot, like I said last week, not a lot of strategy as far as what we are usually watching on these competitive reality shows. Just a lot of cooking, and a lot of people are just focused on their dishes and what they were going to bring to present to the judges. Um, they it was just a lot. It was just a lot of, focusing. A lot of people, things were going wrong, and they had to learn to adapt and learn to pivot. Like James, he was going to make a Scotch egg, a kind of Scotch egg from the century eggs that they had. Um, that didn't end up going well because he was going to put popcorn kernels on the outside and hoped it cooked in the oil to make a breading for the Scotch egg. It didn't work, so he had to pivot, and he ended up making deviled eggs out of the century eggs with a little bit of the buffet beef and the popcorn. He did some cooked popcorn in it to make like a breading type deal, a crunch, and then added the canned cheese to in the deviled egg mix to help with the creaminess. Somebody else who had some issues on the blue team was Steven, who was getting a little in his head about a lot of stuff. He brought a wok with him to as one of his tools that he brought from home, and so he decided he wanted to use this wok, but then he was having trouble trying to figure out what he should do, how he should do it, and it came down to like crunch time, and people just like just do it, just do it, just do it. Um, he was just a little frazzled, just a little, not sure what his plan should be to make this work. Um, Logan also had a problem, but his issue came because somebody, and when I say somebody, I mean Carrie, stole his accidentally, not maliciously, did not sabotage, but accidentally took his portion of the beef. And she cooked it and how she wanted it cooked. And she cooked it, and he had to figure out what to do because his plan was to make this whole other kind of other dish with like fillets and all kind of stuff. She had a dish that she made it and she just chopped it all up like meat, minced meat, kind of just chopped it up. And so now he has to figure out what he was going to do to fix it. And he, because she honestly just made a mistake, and so he adapted. He adapted. He fixed. He decided what he was going to do. He took the plan that he already had and adapted to the meat that she already cooked and made it work for him. So he was able to complete his dish. Um, I'm trying to think. We did have a treasure chest that happened, and it was a rematch between Steven and Ara. Um, they gave him a clue. Ara knew exactly what the clue was, and he took off running. Steven did not really know, and he knew at that point there was no catching Ara, so he just let it go. He was like, "Yeah, I don't know what the clue is, so I'm just gonna let him have it." Ara sprinted right to where the clue box was. They ended up getting some chili flakes, some oh shoot, it was two other ingredients that they were able to use and I forgot and did not write it down. I am sorry. But they had two other ingredients for the treasure chest. Now, this is what I've realized, and what 2 weeks in a row this has happened. And I'll talk about it, put a pin in it real quick. But they got the treasure chest, the green team got it. They all used all the different ingredients from it. And it was fine. So everybody completes their dish the best that they can with the elements that was going on, go to the judges, present their food to the judges. Everybody was raving about how good Aiden's food was because Aiden is like now becoming the very much standout. We got his backstory today and how he was in trouble a lot and gotten to in and out of, bad situations and drugs and things, but he got cooking very young, and it pretty much saved his life, and now he's here working really hard. He's focused, driven on what he's doing, and he's really good at what he's doing. He's really good, and it showed in his food. We also got James's backstory. Found out James has a teenage daughter. That's where this is he is who I got. I'm emotionally unavailable and dead inside because Paulette has a little crush on James. She wants to know if he was single. Asked the production, could you find out he's single but don't tell him it's me. Don't tell him I have a crush on him. But they asked, and he's single. He said, I am single, but I'm emotionally unavailable, and I'm dead inside. But we found out he has a child, a teenage daughter, who he's doing all of this for. We also found out about Kate's backstory about her dad and taking her hunting and gaming. She's one of the people who hunts and cooks and does all the things. It's nice finding out backstories about people. We also found out Carrie's backstory. Like, we got a lot of backstories from people today. Carrie's backstory about how she is very centered and how she uses that. She's very calm and collected, and she uses that to keep her, steady in situations that should have her frazzled. She's very calm and collected about that. And so it was nice to get backstories about people. But presenting the food to the judges, everybody, they they enjoyed some of it. Aiden got a really good review. Let's start with Blue Team. Aiden got a good review. Carrie got a good review. Logan got a good review. Jean Paul it was okay. Steven was not that great. They were like he shouldn't have used the wok because it didn't cook the beef well enough. But he was okay. It was okay. But the rest of the flavors were there and things like that. We go to the green team. The people who got the better reviews were um, Dwight. Yeah, Dwight got the best reviews. Ara got a good review. No, Ara got a good review. Dwight got a good review. Hannah, of course, didn't have anything because she was the person floating around, so she didn't really cook anything. Um, James, they said that the deviled egg was just not it because the century egg is so funky and it was just too much. They like if you would have cut it and like cut that down and shouldn't have been as it's just and I would have been, but I'm like, if he would have given him half of a deviled egg a piece, it was like a little bite. It was like that's not. Oh, but it could have been an encore, the on hors d'oeuvre course, like the first course, but it was just not good because it's just too funky. It was just too funky. Kate's dish was they said was good, but not that like it needed more. It just wasn't what they were looking for in this dish, and it didn't bring everything together. It was just a little off. Paulette's dish was good, but she cut the meat against the grain. I mean, towards the grain instead of against the grain, and which is what you're supposed to do for meat. You're supposed to cut it against the grain. And you're supposed to cook better and taste better, and that feels better in your mouth. And she knew she messed up. She was like, "That was a rookie mistake for me. I was rushing, and I did not cut it against the grain. It was just bad. It was just bad. It was just bad. Rookie mistake." Needless to say, the green team absolutely lost this one. It was just not good. And what I was like, I wonder if because last week the blue team got the treasure chest and then they lost, and this week the green team got the treasure chest and they lost. It's like, do we worry about this treasure chest at this point? Like, if somebody whoever gets the treasure chest next week, if they lose, I'm like, yeah, I would steer clear from the treasure chest. Don't want it. Don't want it. Um, but the green team loses, and Kate and James are, are the two people who will have to go to the gauntlet at the end of the show. We go to the gauntlet round, and the ingredients for the gauntlet round are rabbit saddle, pineapples, mama juana, and bok choy. Now, I know what bok choy is, and I know what pineapple is. Never seen rabbit saddle. I don't know what the saddle of a rabbit is. Is that the rabbit butt? Is that the saddle? I don't know. But the saddle of a rabbit and Mama Juana have no idea. But come to find out, Mama Juana is like a liquid that is full with spices. It's like a rum, and it's filled with spices and all kind of things. And so you can use that as like a glaze or a marinade or things like that, which both of them ended up doing using the Mama Juana as a marinade for the rabbit saddle and hanging it up with, off, for some smoke. And there's a lot. This gauntlet round was wild, y'all. It was wild because of the elements that was going on. It was a lot of like the weather changed so fast. At first, it was really nice. Then all of a sudden, it was this downpour rain, just raining, raining, raining. And so now they have to try to cover their food because the rain, you don't want it to soak the food. And it was just a lot. And it was frazzled. Like Kate was frazzled. They was like, put the meat on. And she was like, I'm doing it. But it was a lot. What I did like was that the green team, two members of Ara, and I think Ara and Dwight came down and like covered James's food, and then with umbrellas so his food wouldn't get soaked. And then Logan and Steven, and I think it was Steven, probably Steven or Ada, one of them came down and covered up Kate's food with umbrella so the food wouldn't go out, and they were covering the fire so the fire wouldn't go out because the rain was coming down. It was pouring, and so they were covering everything up to make sure that nothing would get ruined because of the rain. And so but it was nice of them to do that. I thought that was very sweet. um but when we get to the judging, um Kate gives a rabbit saddle. She cut some rabbit saddle with some pineapple salad and a bok choy marinated in Mama Joanna. It was just like a little, just a bunch of stuff together. And the judges was like, "This is you cooked things well. It just needed something to tie it all together, like a sauce or." It just felt very disjointed and discombobulated, like nothing made sense together. Like they wanted something to bring it together in the dish. It just wasn't cohesive enough, but it was tasty, just nothing to make the dish a full dish. There was something missing. And then James went risky. He threw out this big risk because he was going to make 30-minute ramen with the rabbit saddle, some noodles, some pineapples, spot choy, and what he did that was smart, I thought it was smart, and the judges also agreed that it was smart. He didn't cook the bok choy down. He just chopped it up raw and then put it in the bowl and with the broth and put the broth over it and let the broth wilt it a little bit and not let it like fully cook it. So it was still fresh and it still gave it like a little bit of crunch into the dish and the ramen, and it turned out really nice. It was a nice earthy broth. They said it lacked a little bit of flavor. It would have been good if it was able to stew a little longer. Um, a little bit of salt or things, but it was still good. And so, in the end, it came down to not being cohesive enough, and Kate was eliminated. And yeah, that's it for Kate. She ran off into the sunset, feeling very proud of herself though. So love that for her. Um, but that is Castaway and Chopped Castaway. So there is that. I mean, I don't know. It just was what it was at that point. But like I said, this show is something is new for us and it's new for me to talk about. I like Chopped. I watch Chopped just to watch Chopped. And but never thought about having how that works to talk about it on the podcast. So I'm still learning, but I still love it. And I think Chopped Castle is a really good show and I will watch it even if we didn't talk about it because I just love Chopped. But enough about that. Let's get into some social strategy, shall we? We wrapped up Survivor this week, the finale of Survivor, season 50. What a ride! What a ride we had. Um, it was a very interesting show. Shout out to Aubrey Bracco for winning Survivor season 50. Got the $2 billion prize and a car. Woohoo for her. Deserved win. Very deserved win. I'm very happy for her because with the final three that was left, definitely deserved win. Um, and shout out to mother Cerie Fields for being fan favorite. Who thought no question about it. Like duh. Cerie winning was how it's supposed to be. And she got an award, the Spirit of Survivor Award. That's great. Love that. We talked about Survivor 50. We did a recap on our channel with Tez from Australian Survivor this season's of Australian Survivor. So go check that out. I will put the ID card up right now, up there. Bing. Um, but check it out. We had a great conversation about it. I'll give you a quick recap of the highlights. I will just say I didn't like how Jeff or Jonathan talked to Tiffany during that final five tribal council. I said that on the recap, and I'll say it again. Did not like it. It was very gross. And now we're finding a lot now about watched about the show since the post exit interviews have come out. We've seen now why Tiffany was really upset about at tribal council about what was going on. It comes to find out that apparently Jonathan told her when she asked why was it not Joe? Why couldn't it be Joe? Because Joe um had the same amount of challenge wins as she wants to know why was it Joe? Why what couldn't it be Joe? Why her? Her and Joe had the same amount of challenge wins and like that. And Jonathan apparently said it's because you're a girl and girls have the record for girls is 4 and the record for guys is 8. Now she said she doesn't think he was being malicious. He probably didn't know what, his wording, how he said it, and wanted to know how that came out, how the wording. This is her word. She didn't think he was being malicious, but it kind of riled her up. Like, what do you mean? Um, because I'm a girl. Hmm. And she was like, because Rizzo told her saying he wasn't gonna vote for her because he couldn't keep her because he knew he couldn't beat her in the end. And so that was like, she was like, I can respect that. I can deal with that. I can understand that. But because you're a girl, doesn't make sense. And my thing is, Jonathan, if he wanted to, all he had to say was, because me and Joe have been working together this entire time, we're an alliance. That's why it's Joe and not you. That's why it's you and not Joe, because me and Joe are an alliance. An alliance. And that would have been so much easier. That would have much more respect would have been from that. Like, okay, period. You have been working with Joe. Y'all are in an alliance, and that's who you want to ride to the end with. No harm in saying that at Final Five because there are who has the idol, Rizzo. It's not Tiffany. There are no more idols out there. She can't get an advantage. She can't even use a shot in the dark. You know all of this. So if you would have just been straight up, this is the time you could have been straight up honest. I'm not going to vote for you because I'm in an alliance with Joe, so I'm not going to pick Joe. Sure, she probably could have picked Aubrey, and then you could be like, maybe, or no, probably not because I don't think I can beat you. He doesn't know how to talk to people on the way out. And that is why you lost the game, Jonathan, because he's been on all his exit press interviews so confused on why he lost and why he lost and why he lost. And I don't get it. Dee voted for Aubrey and Dee didn't even play with Aubrey one day. And I don't know why would, and Cerie is the one who caused all this. Cerie swayed everybody. And I'm like, no, dude, you lost because you didn't have good jury management and you talked to people crazy on their way out the door. You was trying to do theatrics and do big theatrical moves for no reason. You wanted Dee to vote for you when you caused the whole ruckus and riled her up and pissed her off on the way out. And you were like, well, I don't understand why Dee wouldn't vote for me. That doesn't make any sense to me. And I don't know. And I'm like, why would she? Same thing with Christian. You didn't have to do that. You weren't voting for Christian. You didn't even you took his shot in the dark. You still voted for him, and then you want to be like, "Oh, here, Christian, take this back," to make a show for the jury members. Like, you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to do any of that. It could have been. And then this with Tiffany, like you knew she was gone. You didn't have to do any of that. All you had to do was send them out the door. Just send them out the door. But you want to act confused on why people didn't vote for you. This is still jury management. Did pre-existing relationships might have something to do with Aubrey winning? Maybe, possibly, but that's the reason why you got 3 votes too, because your pre-existing alliance, your Zoom alliance that you had with Stephanie, who was, oh my God, Stephanie. have some shame. Have some shame. Logan said in the recap, girl, did you forget you was married? Cause have some shame. The way he was drooling all over Jonathan, like, hello? Girl, some shame, some decorum. Cause you, ma'am, were doing the most. Doing the most. Like, really? Really. Um, but it, you were doing a lot. You were doing a lot. And it wasn't necessary to do all of that. But you and Stephanie and Chrissy was writing him the whole jury in this final tribal. It was ridiculous. Oh, and then let's not skip over Jeff spoiling Rizzo being out the fire making challenge before we even saw the fire making challenge. Like, hello? What? Oh my gosh. It was crazy. It was crazy. Um, but it, that whole the final four with the fire making, Samotion was back. Aubrey wins Samotion. I'm like, yes, love Samotion. Aubrey winning Samotion was everything I wanted to see in this. Well, in this case, because it was like she deserved to be at the end, and which also makes me laugh because y'all could have got rid of Aubrey, and she wouldn't have been there. Now maybe Tiffany could have won Samotion, but maybe she couldn't have. But she locks in, so I think Tiffany still would have won Samotion. I think she would have. But either way, like, he could have got rid of Aubrey and wouldn't have had that problem. But nope, they didn't. And Aubrey went on to win the game. So good on her. But yeah, that final tribal was crazy. It was a mess. It was Ozzy ate both Joe and Jonathan up during the final tribal. So funny. Ozzy, the man that you are, just ate him up. He just ate him up, and I love that. But it was a lot, but in the end, Aubrey wins. She wins $2 million. Sari wins the fan favorite. She wins $100 million. It's not 100 million. I wish 100. No, I don't. Yeah, I wish for her. But she wins $100,000, and so that was it. Was a good season overall. I will say it was a good season. We got the teaser for season 51. Um, Shout out to Daniel Kilby. I said he looks familiar. Somebody I've seen this person. Somebody I know is on Survivor 51, which is crazy. So 3 years in a row, somebody who I from the community that I started playing these games with are on Survivor. Rizzo 49 and 50, and now Daniel on 51. So shout out to you, Daniel. Good, so happy for you. Hope you had an amazing time, and can't wait to watch what the season is. We know they've wrapped the season, so I'm excited to see what happens. What is going to come about season 51. But season 50 is wrapped and it's in the books, and we are setting our sights to season 51. So, yay to that. Let's move on from Survivor 50 to Fear Factor 48 Hours of Fear. We got our 48 hours in, and we're going to wrap it up today. Fear Factor 48 Hours of Fear. We've already lost Jeff. And last thing we saw was we were getting ready to do a pain auction. A lot of what we saw in Fear Factor House of Fear. Um, and But some new things, some different things. Um, so literally is auctioning off things that are either gross or disgusting or hard or hurts, and you have to do it. And it's four Fear Factor coins that are going to be handed out, and but it's 5 challenges. So the first 4 people to complete what they bid on will get the Fear Factor coin. If you quit, you're eliminated. So it's just that simple. So the first one was not scorpions, spiders, black widow spiders. I want to say what spiders being dumped on your head in a glass box. But you also have to have a tree eating bug in your mouth as they dump 5 tarantulas in at a time. Tarantulas, that's what it is. 5 tarantulas on your head. And the bidding was for how many drops can you take? Each drop was 5 tarantulas. Um, Tatum ended up winning with 3 drops of tarantulas, so 15 spiders on her head, tarantulas around in this box, and this tree thing in her mouth. And she had to be in there for 1 minute after the last drop. And she did it. She completed it. Good on her. She got it done, got her coin. The next was walking across cut glass. Walking across shattered glass. Um, Adrian bid on that, and she had to walk 10 feet across glass. And she did it. I was like, oof, not me, because baby, I don't like pain like that. So I stepped on a piece of sharp piece of glass the other day, and I was like, oh no, oh God, no. And oof, no, I couldn't do it. I could not do it. I would not do it. I could not, shall not, won't do it. No. But she did it, so good on her. So she got her Fear Factor coin. Um, Up next was the haircut from hell. And the bidding started with one shaved eyebrow. And the only people who could bid on it was Meg, Blake, and Brian. And Brian was like, yeah, I'll do one. Nobody else bid. Blake and Meg was like, you're not shaving my eyebrow. I said, baby, I would have been like, shave both of these eyebrows. Like, because here's the thing. Ladies, we know how to put eyebrows back on makeup. You get your eyebrow pencil, you put them eyebrows right, you paint them eyebrows on. You shave them off. Eyebrows grow back. Like, it wasn't shaving the hair, it was eyebrows. And he won with one eyebrow being shaved off. That was the easiest one. I would have been like, shave it off. Shave both of them off. Now, if you would have got to my hair, I probably would have said, okay, fine, because hair grows back and you can do a wig. And you still be fine. So yeah, haircut. And Brian wins with one shaved eyebrow. So he gets his. It's like, okay, interesting. Um, so Blake and Meg now had to bid on what the electric thing that we saw Ethan do on House of Fear, how many voltage, and they bid up to, I think it was 70 volts of electricity. Blake won that, and he held on. He had to hold on for, I think it was 10 seconds or something. Whatever, however long he had to hold on. He held on to it. So he held on to his. So he got the last coin. And the last one that Meg had to do was getting a nose ring, a septum piercing. So she had to get that. That was what the needles was for. She had to get a piercing. I mean, not bad. Got my ears pierced before. I'm sure the nose it hurts. I'm sure it hurts, but after a while it's gone away. And you got a piece of nose jewelry afterwards. So there you go. Um, Not that I ever wanted a nose piercing, but not bad. It's there. She did it, but she got no coin. So for the next part of portion was the eating of Fear Factor sushi. Sucks sushi is what they called it. It has a lot of gross stuff, hair in it, some ants, crushed ants. It was just nastiness, gross stuff in there. Um, innards, just a bunch of stuff in there. And so this is why I was like, people they messed up because of course we all saw earlier. Well, we talked about it that the girls wanted to have an alliance against the guys, and so I thought they would, try to get out the guys, and the guys was going for the girls. We knew that was going to happen because that's the alliance. Um, but Tatum was able to give another piece of sushi, another bigger one, to somebody. She gave it to Brian. Then Blake gives his to Adrian, and then Adrian gives hers to Brian. When I'm like, girl, give it to Blake. He should have an extra one too. And then Brian gives his to Tatum, which is the smart thing to do. You split them up. So Blake only had his two, and everybody else, him and Blake and Meg had two, and everybody else had three pieces of sushi to eat. And if you quit, you're gone. And so whoever wins the first person to finish gets an advantage in the end game for that was going to happen tomorrow, the next day, the final end game, not tomorrow, the next day. And so Blake wins because he only has two pieces of this nasty sushi. He eats his, and it's really what was impressive though. Adrian was right on his tail. Like it was battle between Adrian and Blake, and she had three and he had two, but she was tanned up. She was eating it, and even though it was hard because it was the hair for her. Because y'all know when you eat a piece of hair, you're like, and so she had to deal with that. But she was on it. She was eating it, and but Blake beat her. Then Adrian. Then it came down to Brian, Tatum, and Meg, and Brian was struggling. Like he was struggling to eat these. He was having a hard time. It just wasn't coming. It was much too much for him. Um, he was having a hard time with the with eating those that sushi. But Tatum was having a hard time, and Meg was having an even harder time. And they were eating, and Meg, Meg just quit. It was unfortunate she quit. If she would have just held out a little longer, I think Brian would have quit first because he was like, "It's just not happening, boss. It's not happening." He was so close to ending it, but Meg ended it first, so she was eliminated, leaving the final four of Adrian, Tatum, Blake, and Brian. Tatum and Brian did not even finish their sushi. Like that's how it was. They didn't even finish theirs. So it was just those four. This was our final four for the end game. And so the final end game is a game of chicken. Of course, they still can't sleep, and people are still getting shocked by these shot callers because they can't. But the end game was a game of chicken, and um, they will ride these ATVs and had to drive it into like a brick wall, but they also had to have it was a money bag on the back, and they had to grab it and then dump it into a box that had numbers on it, and whoever got the highest number would win. And so Blake, who got the advantage, his advantage was he got to pick who he wanted to go against. And of course, he picks Tatum because him and Brian made this alliance and they didn't want to go against each other, which made sense because that's what you do. So Brian picks Tatum. They do their thing. Tatum gets a 7, Brian gets an 11. Tatum is eliminated. So then it's Adrian versus Brian. They go. Adrian gets a 9. Brian gets an 11. Adrian is done. And the most ugh final two that I was like, please don't let this be the final two. Please. It is the final two. I'm like, so boring, so predictable, whatever. So for the final in game, because Brian and Blake, they both have two bags and they have to throw the bags in there at the same time to try to get it to go before they are yanked off of the ATV. Um, and when we get to they do it. Brian gets 12 and Blake gets 24 or 23 and wins because Brian, one of his, did not go into the box. So he only got 12 points. So there is that. Blake is the winner. He wanted to win. He wins $50,000. Yay. Good for him. I, good for him. It was, it was a show. It was, it was what it was. And, yeah, Fear Factor 48 Hours of Fear. That's it. I mean, such an underwhelming finish for me, but it is what it was. It was a cute little thing that they did. So good on them. But let's get into some news. So we have updated rumored cast for Destination X. Updated rumor cast. Uh, so we have our civilians who are joining. We already talked about Tiffany, Dan, Wendell, and Kayla. And now we know that Nick from Love Island, Nick from Alandria, Nicholas Van Steenberg is going to be joining the cast of Destination X. And I'm like, period. Because you know me, I am a fellow Nicolandria stan, a bona fide Nicolandria stan, day one. And so love to see that Nick is also going to be doing more reality TV because if anybody needs to be doing more reality TV, it is Nick. He's taking a break from his busy DJ career that he got going on. Very busy DJ career. Tour dates just dropped this week, so shout out to Nick giving us his tour dates because he will be on tour all summer. But taking a break from that to do Destination X, so I love to see it. I'm excited because I love Nick and I can't wait to cheer him on. And I hope he does well. Nick traveled a lot in his day, so I think he might do well with this. I think a lot of people underestimate Nick, and they don't think Nick is as smart as we know Nick is. But Nick is very well traveled, very well cultured. So hopefully, we'll see something, something happening with Nick on Destination X. I'm excited to see it. We still have one person who we don't know is an unknown person. We don't know if it's going to be another civilian or someone who has on reality television, but we're excited to see. I'm looking forward to Destination X. I enjoy that show, so I'm very happy about that. In other news, we found out on Survivor 50 that Mike White has officially announced that Charlie and Camilla are going to be will be the survivor cameos for season 4 of The White Lotus. So congratulations to Camilla and Charlie because yay, that's always awesome to get to, be cameos on a popular show. So shout out to them. But now it's time to get to some drag race. Had it the wrong way, but it's time for RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars season 11. Um, and we are into our second bracket of the three brackets. We've seen Dawn and Akira go on to the next round. So now we're moving into our next bracket. And I have to say, this is a fun group for me. I don't know all of the people. Here's the thing, I don't know a lot of the girls in this bracket because, I didn't watch all of their seasons, but it's fun not knowing them and just getting to know them in this capacity. The only one that I knew was Silky Nutmeg Ganache. I knew her from watching Drag House Rules. So love that. But I didn't see her season of Drag Race. So there's that. So it's nice to not to know all of these girls, but getting to know them through this show and this bracket. So I'm enjoying watching it. And this was a nice episode. It was duets was the main challenge. We had and I was like, okay, period. Um, Duets was the challenge, and they had to do a duet, and it was fun. We had some drama with picking the songs because Silky, a lot of people wanted one song, one particular song, and but compromises had to be made by choice or by force. Some um, Silky, Selena, and April all wanted the same song, but April and Selena end up getting this song. I'm gonna take this out so you can see me on the way. Selena and April ended up getting the song that Silky wanted, but Silky was like, that's fine. I'll just get the song with the HBF. Uh, I think it was HBF, and I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed this this group. I enjoyed this challenge. Um, if I was ranking the challenge by groups, I think my favorite would be Crystal Method, and oh no, not the name slipping my brain. I really liked her too. Oh no, it slipped my brain. Ora Maori. Ora Maori. Okay, yeah. I I just my mind just went blank. But my favorite group, yeah, was Crystal and Aura, and then Silky and Vivacious, and then it would be April and Selena in that order. That would be my ranking of the groups. I just thought that Aura and Crystal was so like clean and fun. I just really enjoy Aura. I like Silky and Vivacious. Was Vivacious the best dancer? No, she's a little. But look, she's like, look, baby, I'm old. So my knees don't can't be breaking it down like that. I respect that. But I thought they made the best of what they did. I thought they were so fun. I thought it was fun. I thought their bars were good. I thought they had a good song. I thought Aura and Crystal were just so fun and clean, and I enjoyed their choreography. I enjoyed their song. I think here's the thing: everybody did really good. I don't think there was a bad group in the bunch at all. I think everybody did really well, and I say the same thing about this runway. I think everybody looked amazing with this runway. This was a great runway, a great challenge for the all groups. Like this was really really good. I would say my favorite runway would go to between Vivacious and um Selena. I think Vivacious and Selena had my favorite runways, but I think everybody's runway was so good. I like Crystals. I like the campiness of Crystals. I like the sultriness of April's. It was very pretty. I like the prettiness of um Aura. And I loved I like Silky's. I thought everybody's was really, really good. I thought everybody's was really good. But Rue Rue and the judges agreed that Aura and Crystal had the best girl duet, and they won. They both got 2 points, and then the lip sync happened between Aura and Crystal, and I kind of knew Crystal was gonna win this when I saw the leg hanging out, and Rue was cracking up when she was spinning. That leg was hanging out, just dangling. That leg was just dangling out there. It was cute. It was fun. It was a funny moment. It was cute, and the she had gags and gags on gags. It was cute. I like Crystal's performance. I thought Aura did a really good job too, but Crystal ends up winning, and it was perfectly fine for me. I was fine seeing it. She won. So Crystal now is in the lead with 3 points or with 2 points. And now next week we will see what happens when everybody gives out their points. I will say, Aura was very much into, hey, let's do this, trying to build alliances in the workroom. She was leading the charge on trying to build her and Selena and even April. April and Selena wanted to do the Tres Leches alliance between her, April, Selena, and possibly Crystal. Um, Aura was trying to get Crystal to do alliances with her. Crystal was very much like, I kind of want to do it on my own. I don't want to commit myself to anybody's alliance and then, you know, feel trapped into that. I want to be by myself like a lone wolf. And as of right now, she could do that because she does not have any points to give. She got all the points she can, she was going to get this round. So she doesn't have to worry about that. Now we'll see what everybody else does with their QVC points. Um, I don't know what's gonna happen. As Vivacia say, the sneaky ones are the quiet ones, and April was showing herself to be a little bit sneaky, but we shall see. We shall see what happens next week. I'm very interested in seeing what goes down for Drag Race. I'm enjoying this bracket right now, so we'll see. I did enjoy this bracket. Like I said, since I don't know but one person, I'm getting introduced to all of them, so I kind of love that. So great episode of Drag Race All Stars this week. Next week we are down to only two shows. We will only be talking about Chopped Castaways and RuPaul's Drag Race. So a lot of free time, but don't let that worry you because guess what? The week after, we have a lot of shows coming. We will be talking about both Love Island UK and Love Island USA. Um, Something else is starting on this same week. I can't remember what else, but we'll talk all about the newer shows the week after next. But next week, we're down to talking Chopped Castaways and RuPaul's Drag Race. So there's that. Look at me getting done with everything under an hour. You're welcome. I don't know how long that's going to last for this show, but y'all know. If you know, you know, and we appreciate you sticking around and watching for it. Next week, I won't be here next week. David will be taking over. Hopefully he'll have some company. I will be gone next week, but um just because I'm going, don't mean you have to be. Stick around. Join us for next time. Leave some comments. Let us know if there's some shows out there that we should be watching. Let us know in the comments below what we should be watching if we're not watching it. Y'all be our eyes and ears, please. Um, and comment and let us know what you think about the show. Let us know anything else, or just want to say cause Jeanette, we see you out there. Hey, girl, I love that you watch, and we appreciate you. And if you want to give a shout out, let us know. Drop a comment, drop a line. We'll shout you out. Follow us on this channel if you haven't done so already. Follow us on all of our other channels. All the links will be in the description below, as well as our audio podcast links, our Patreon, and where you can get your merch at lanagcreations.etsy.com. Also, all of our socials at The Cut Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. And we're going to get out of here because I don't have anything else to say. But you stick around and watch more videos. Just click the playlist. And we will see you next time. Cheers, everybody. Bye.